So I've just made a bagel with my favourite toppings, jam and peanut butter, honey and cinnamon. And this video is going to be a kind of follow-up to my last video. And in that one I spoke about like deciding to change in recovery. And then this one's going to be about maintaining that change and actually doing it, because like deciding to change and changing, I feel like are two quite different things. And I've got a Kayla Rose Kateki to watch. I've literally just rubbed peanut butter through her hair. Okay, so I find in recovery, choosing to change and then actually changing are two completely different things. And you can find all the motivation in the world to want to change, and you want to be well, you know you need to gain weight, you want a better life, until you're faced with food or the actual act of gaining weight, and then suddenly it's like the worst thing ever. And it's like there's a complete disconnect. Like, I know I need to gain weight, but gaining weight is bad. Or I know I need to eat more, but I can't eat more food. One example of this for me, a few months ago had a bone scan and the results came back and I've got osteoporosis. I'm 29, like I'm not even 30, I have osteoporosis, and that was just like what the fuck are you doing? And in that moment, I was like, sort your shit out, Meg. Like, this can't go on. And I was like, I'm going to get an ice cream straight away. I need dairy, calcium, calories. Went straight to Baskin-Robbins. And I was like, get yourself an ice cream. Literally got to the counter to choose the ice creams. And I was like, I can't do it. Ice cream's bad. It's too many calories. I'm going to get fat. I've already eaten. This isn't a planned meal. Like, fear. Like, I can't explain, like, it's like I just had this feeling in me that like I knew ice cream was bad. Like, even though before, 5 minutes before, I decided anorexia was terrible and I needed to gain weight and eat all this food, faced with the food, it's a different story. And I get the same experience if there's like an opportunity to miss calories. Like, that still feels like a good idea. If there's a lower calorie snack, or I don't know, you can cut down on a meal or choose a lower cal option. If there's a salad on a menu instead of pasta or something, I can't explain why. I just feel like that's the best idea, and I feel like that's what I have to do. It's like every fibre in my being is telling me, don't order pasta, order a salad, or just don't order a Baskin-Robbins at all. And then when you have the whatever it is, ice cream or pasta, then it floods in for me, and it's like this overwhelming feeling that I've just done something terrible, I'm an awful person, I'm gonna get fat, I'm gonna gain loads of weight. I literally feel the weight going onto my legs like whilst I'm eating. And then if it's really bad, I feel like, well, at times I've literally wanted to rip my stomach out. I don't really purge or exercise, but I even get thoughts like that, like just get rid of this food. It just feels like something so awful in me. And the thought of weight gain is just, I don't know, it's just my neural wiring. I've just learned that high calorie foods are bad, eating more than is necessary, like the minimal amount just to stay alive, is bad, gaining weight is bad. And then on the flip side, dodging calories, losing weight, eating little is good. Ugh, I don't know, it's like, it doesn't make sense, because I decide I want to change, but then I've still got all these beliefs in place and this really well practiced neural wiring around calories and weight gains and my beliefs there. So the two are then completely disconnected, and I can have all the best intentions in the world to change and get better and gain weight. Like, I'll leave a therapy session like, this week I'm going to do it, let's go, until I'm faced with the food and the prospect of gaining weight, and then all my old neural mechanisms and old beliefs kick in, and yeah, I can't like put into practice this motivation to change. I can't maintain the motivation when I come to eat and gain the weight. It's literally so messed up. So I think in recovery, we kind of need to like relearn all of these associations and start thinking, actually eating food, calories, weight gain, being healthy is good. That's life. Avoiding calories, losing weight, fitting into tiny clothes, that's anorexia, and that's shitty life. And every time you choose these options, you're reinforcing your eating disorder thoughts and your beliefs and showing yourself like, yes, I do need to do these things. So Brendan, my fiance, came up with something really awesome recently, which is the bullshit alarm. So as soon as your anorexia thoughts and ideas start creeping in, identify those thoughts like, that's an eating disorder thought, and that's your bullshit alarm, like, bing, 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 like, bullshit alarm alert. So if you're all planned to go and make a snack, I don't know, I'm gonna have a bagel, and then you get to it and you're like, oh, you don't really need both bits of bagel, just have half the bagel. You don't really need to put butter on with your jam, just have the jam. Why are you having jam anyway? Just have the plain bagel. Why are you even having a bagel? Just have an apple. As soon as those thoughts start coming in and like the negotiations start in your head, like bullshit alarm, straight away, like this is an eating disorder thought. And in the past, I've tried to like reason and argue against my thoughts and directly challenge them. But I find as soon as I challenge one thought, another one pings up. So if I think like, no, a bagel's a whole food, I do need to eat this, I'm gonna have it. Then I'll think, but you've probably already gained your weight this week. Why? You don't need to gain any more now. And then I'll be like, no, I do need to gain weight this week. That's a thought in my head. And then I'll think, oh, but you're going out later and you're gonna probably be drinking and eating out at a pub. You don't need to have that now. Save your calories and use them later. And then I'll argue that. And then it will be like, oh, but you don't want to go feeling really full. So just have a little bit now and make up for it whilst you're there. There is like a never ending supply of eating disorder thoughts. And so sometimes I find it helpful to just like block them completely and try to not even entertain them. One thing that helps me do that is have like a mantra ready to hand. So something really sharp and snappy that you can just throw back and be like, no, not doing that. And so mine is Bren baby's bones. Those are like three of my most important things. So it's helpful for me to like try to connect with myself and remind myself like, no, this is why I'm doing it. Fuck off thoughts. Bren baby's bones. Another funny thing that Brendan's come up with recently is this idea of recovery tokens. Because one of the big eating disorder thoughts I have is that things are unnecessary. Like, why are you pouring honey on top of peanut butter? That's unnecessary. You could just have the bagel with peanut butter. And then it would get into, why are you having the peanut butter? That's unnecessary. You could have the bagel, and so it goes on. So I talk about things in terms of extra calories. Why would I have 100 extra calories? And he started calling them recovery tokens. Like, it's not 100 extra calories. That's my old associations and my old way of thinking, which has led me to a shitty little isolated eating disorder life. So he's like, reframe your thinking. Don't call them 100 extra calories. Call them 100 recovery tokens. It sounds really lame, but I actually really like it. Because if I use my bullshit alarm and my recovery tokens and my little mantra, it's just like quick little easy ways of just trying to stay me basically and trying to connect myself to that decision I made before. Like, I've decided to change and now I need to keep that motivation going. So yeah, these little things try to help me like keep the me coming through and not just get swamped and flooded by eating disorder thoughts when I'm faced with food and weight gain. Another thing that helps me to kind of reduce the eating disorder thoughts is to reduce my options around food. So when I was at school, I used to literally take about 15 cereal bars to school with me and maybe one chocolate bar because I wanted all bases covered, and like just in case I fancied this, or just in case I wanted a chocolate bar, or maybe I'd want a few lower calories here. And this was literally the difference of like 3 or 4 calories between the different bars, but I just wanted all options there and all bases covered. But it actually just creates huge anxiety because it just allows for more and more thoughts of like, you should do this, maybe you should do this, but isn't this one better than this? And what about, are you having this later? So you should have this now. Ugh. And I actually find now making decisions about food before I'm faced with the food, so I'm a bit more me still. I'm not like exposed to the food, having a fear response, flooded with eating disorder thoughts. So if I decide before work, say, okay, I'll take that cereal bar to work, and then I take it, then that's all I have to choose from. So when I come to eat, there's less opportunity really for anorexia to step forward with all these different thoughts about different bars because I only have one bar there. And then another thing my psychologist gets me to do is when I'm actually eating, to write out a list of all the shit things about being ill and all of the good things about being well. So it's like a pros and cons list. So like for me, the cons of my body being under its healthy weight are I get rigid, routined, boring, quite isolated, my hair falls out, I get stressed and emotional very easily, I'm not fun, I think about food all of the time, bleh. And then thinking about the benefits of my body being at its healthy weight, it would be not needing to restrict, not having to think about food, being funner, being more flexible, being more connected with people, hair growing back, not being freezing cold, not being tired. Basically, the aim is to try and connect the dots between what you're doing in the now and where you want to be. So like, is this behavior, is eating this food in line with my goals? Because we kind of get so caught in the now with eating disorders, and you're just looking for that quick fix. Like, I just want to use anorexia now to make myself feel better. I just don't want to eat this now or gain that weight right now because it will make me feel shit. And I can even think, oh, a year down the line, I'll be able to do it. Of course, this time next year, I'll be eating freely, but I can't do it today. Next month, I'll gain the weight, fine, but I just don't want to do it this week. And because for me, I'm always looking for that like immediate gratification, that instant, I just want to feel good in the now, then I just stay in my eating disorder, because the behaviours that make me feel a bit safer are eating disorder behaviours. And so I practice them every day, and then every day turns into a year, and then 10 years, and then my life, and then I've just been eating disordered. So I hope that's helpful for people with thinking about like how to maintain your motivation basically, and like once you've decided to change, actually translating that into action. And I'm about to head to the pub in a bit. I'm going to go and meet Brendan and some friends. We're going to go and watch England in the World Cup. And oh my God, I've got another thing that we've just come up with to help with this maintaining motivation. So it's actually Brendan who did it again. He's written me out some signs with like helpful quotes and basically counter thoughts to the thoughts I commonly get in my head. And we've just like pinned them up around the apartment. And then if anyone comes over, we have to like unpin them quickly and like put them in a cupboard. So let me show you these signs quickly, and then I'll probably sign out and head to the football. So this is one of the signs that Brendan wrote. I need a healthy wife on our wedding day in her healthy free body where it should be. Bless him. And actually this is a picture of us the day that we got engaged in New York, and his family are with us. And this is us on holiday in Mexico, and both of those I was much healthier. And then the next sign, stop going over food in your head, you don't need to. And that's to try and stop me going over everything I've already eaten or planned to eat for the day. And then the next sign, you're not getting fat, you've eaten normally and not being anorexic. And then I've added the yellow post-its. Thoughts are just thoughts, it's not the absolute truth. Don't act on these thoughts with an anorexia quick fix, because it keeps you trapped and just reinforces that wire. So that's just to remind me, like, just because I think these things or I might feel fat doesn't mean I am, or it doesn't mean I'm gaining a shit ton of weight, and doesn't mean I should act on that, because yeah, doing so just keeps me in the old anorexia thought processes. And here we have a little cat. Stevie! Hello, darling. Oh, bless her. And Beyonce. Beyonce's a mute, so she can't meow. She just opens and closes her mouth. And then the next sign is in the lounge, on the TV. If it convinces you can feel it on your legs, that's victory. We need to put on weight. I get these experiences, like I start eating and then I think straight away, oh my God, that's gone to my legs or that's gone to my stomach, which is ridiculous. That doesn't happen straight away. I don't immediately put on weight. But then at the same time, if I'm under my body's healthy weight, the aim kind of is to put on weight. So that's why he says that's victory.